There once was a little lump of clay named Clay. Clay was not just any ordinary lump of clay, he had a tiny face with big, curious eyes that sparkled with dreams and possibilities. Every day, he would look around at the other clay creations on the shelf and wonder what he could become. He lived on a shelf with lots of other clay creations. There were colorful animals, intricate figurines, and even some abstract shapes. Each creation had its own story, its own purpose. Clay admired them all and felt a mix of excitement and longing. He wanted to be more than just a lump, he wanted to have a story of his own. Clay dreamed of becoming something amazing. He often imagined himself as different things, a brave knight, a majestic dragon, or even a towering castle. But there was one dream that stood out above the rest. He wanted to be a shiny red race car. The thought of zooming around with speed and grace filled him with excitement. But Clay felt scared. He was just a small lump, and the idea of transforming into something so magnificent seemed impossible. He was just a small lump. How could he ever become a race car? The other creations on the shelf seemed so confident and complete, while he felt unfinished and unsure. Doubts clouded his mind, and he often found himself looking down, feeling alone and insignificant. He didn't know how to start. The path to becoming a race car seemed unclear and daunting. He had so many questions and no answers. What if he failed? What if he wasn't good enough? These thoughts swirled around in his head, making him feel even more confused and lost. One day, a little girl named Lily came to the shelf. She had bright eyes and a warm smile that made Clay feel a little less scared. She picked up Clay with gentle hands, and he felt a spark of hope. Maybe, just maybe, she could help him become something amazing. He felt her warm hands. Lily squeezed him gently. "Don't worry," she whispered. Her voice was soft and reassuring, like a gentle breeze on a warm day. Clay felt a sense of calm wash over him. For the first time he believed that he could be more than just a lump of clay. You can be anything you want to be. Lily's words echoed in his mind as she began to mold him with care and creativity. He felt himself changing, transforming into different shapes. Each touch of her hands brought him closer to his dream. He realized that with a little help and a lot of belief, he could indeed become something amazing. Lily put Clay down on the table. She had been working on him for days, carefully molding and shaping him into the perfect little figure. Each detail was meticulously crafted, from his tiny eyes to his hopeful smile. Today was a special day though. Today Lily had a new idea, and Clay could feel the excitement in the air. He wondered what new adventure awaited him. She had so many colorful tools. The table was a vibrant display of creativity, with every color of the rainbow represented in the array of clay and tools. There were blues as deep as the ocean, reds as bright as a summer sunset, and yellows that shone like the midday sun. Each tool had its own special purpose, and Lily knew exactly how to use them to bring her ideas to life. There were rolling pins and shape cutters. The rolling pins were perfect for flattening out the clay, making it smooth and even. The shape cutters came in all sorts of designs, from simple circles and squares to intricate stars and hearts. Lily loved using these tools to add special touches to her creations, making each one unique and full of character. There were even tiny sculpting tools. These were Lily's favorite. With them, she could add the finest details, turning a simple lump of clay into a masterpiece. She could carve out tiny lines to create textures, add little dots for eyes, or even sculpt delicate patterns that made her creations come to life. Clay watched in awe as Lily picked up one of these tools, wondering what she would create next. Clay felt a little spark of hope. He had always dreamed of being something special, something more than just a simple figure. As he looked around at all the tools and colors, he couldn't help but feel excited. Maybe today was the day his dreams would come true. Maybe today Lily would turn him into something amazing. Maybe he could be a race car after all. Clay had always admired the sleek, fast cars he had seen in Lily's books and on TV. He imagined himself zooming around a track, feeling the wind rush past him as he sped towards the finish line. The thought made him feel alive, and he hoped with all his heart that Lily would make his dream a reality. Lily picked up a red lump of clay. She held it in her hands for a moment, thinking about what she wanted to create. Red was such a bold, vibrant color, full of energy and life. It was the perfect choice for something as exciting as a race car. With a smile, she began to work, her hands moving with practiced skill as she molded the clay into shape. She rolled it and shaped it. The clay started to take form under her careful touch. She used the rolling pin to flatten it out, then began to shape it into the sleek body of a car. She added wheels, a spoiler, and even tiny details like headlights and a grille. Each piece was carefully crafted and placed, turning the simple lump of clay into something extraordinary. Soon, it looked just like a race car. Clay was amazed. He couldn't believe his eyes as he looked at his new form. He felt sleek and fast, just like he had always dreamed. He could almost feel the thrill of racing around a track, the excitement of competing and the joy of crossing the finish line. It was everything he had ever wanted. He wanted to be just like that. As he admired his new form, Clay felt a sense of pride and happiness. He knew that with Lily's help, he could be anything he wanted to be. The possibilities were endless, and he couldn't wait to see what other amazing creations they would come up with together. For now though, he was content to be a race car, speeding towards new adventures and dreams. Lily put down the red race car. She smiled at Clay. "Now it's your turn," she said. But Clay felt afraid again. He didn't know what to do. He wished he could just stay a lump forever. He squeezed himself into a tiny ball. He closed his eyes tight. "I can't do it," he whispered. "It's too hard." Lily gently patted Clay. "Don't give up," she said. "It's okay to be scared. Just try your best." Clay peeked out from under his lump. Lily's words made him feel a little braver. "Do you think I can really be a race car?" he asked. Lily smiled. "Of course you can," she said. "Just believe in yourself." Section 5. Trying and Failing. This is the story of Clay, a little character made of red clay who had big dreams but faced many challenges along the way. Clay took a deep breath. He was determined to succeed, no matter how many times he had to try. He tried to remember what Lily did with the red clay. Lily was his friend and mentor, always showing him new techniques and encouraging him to keep going. He tried to roll himself into a long shape. He had seen Lily do it effortlessly, but for him, it was a struggle. But he just ended up flat and squished. No matter how hard he tried, the clay wouldn't cooperate. He tried to make wheels. He knew that wheels were essential for his dream of becoming a race car, but they looked more like squares. Frustration began to set in as he realized how far he was from his goal. "I'm no good at this," Clay cried. Tears welled up in his eyes as he looked at his misshapen creations. He felt like giving up. The weight of his failures pressed down on him, making him feel small and insignificant. Being a race car seemed impossible. He looked at the sleek, fast cars and wondered if he would ever be able to join them. But deep down, he knew he couldn't give up. He had to keep trying, no matter how many times he failed. Clay wiped away his tears and took another deep breath. He decided to try again, this time with more determination and patience. He knew that every failure was a step closer to success. He practiced rolling the clay, shaping it carefully and taking his time. He remembered Lily's advice to be patient and persistent. Slowly but surely he began to see progress. His shapes were becoming more defined, and his wheels were starting to look round. Hope began to replace his frustration. He looked at the race cars again, this time with a sense of possibility. Maybe, just maybe, he could do it. Clay knew that the road ahead would be tough, but he was ready to face it. With each attempt he grew more confident and skilled. He was no longer afraid of failing because he knew that every failure was a lesson learned. Finally, after many tries, Clay looked at his work with pride. His wheels were round and his shapes were smooth. He had done it. He had turned his failures into success. Clay was ready to race. He knew that there would be more challenges ahead, but he was no longer afraid. He had learned that trying and failing was just a part of the journey to success. Lily picked up Clay. She gently reshaped him. "It's okay," she said. "Everyone makes mistakes. The important thing is to keep trying." Clay looked at the red race car. He thought about how happy it looked. He wanted to feel that happy too. Maybe, just maybe he could do this. Clay closed his eyes. He pictured himself as a shiny red race car. He imagined himself zooming around a racetrack. He could almost hear the roar of the engine. Clay opened his eyes. He felt a surge of determination. He could do this. He just needed to believe in himself. Clay started again. This time he didn't give up. He rolled and he shaped. He made mistakes, but he kept trying. Slowly, Clay started to look less like a lump and more like a race car. Lily watched with a smile. She knew Clay could do it. He just needed to believe in himself. Finally, Clay was finished. He was a shiny red race car. He had wheels and a spoiler and everything. Clay couldn't believe it. He had done it. He learned that anything is possible if you believe in yourself and never give up. He was so proud of himself, and Lily was proud of him too.